Hey, and we're back. Welcome back. My name is Jeff Fritz, and today is August 18th, 2018. Good morning. I see McNerdius in the chat room just renewed a subscription with Twitch Prime. Thanks so much. I really appreciate that. As always, and as I do on my channel, I'm going to match that, and we're going to make a donation to Girl Develop It. Thanks so much for the donation. And thank you to our friend Fierce Kittens. Look at that. Hosting the stream with 4 viewers. So much already going on before I can even get a sip of coffee. Look at this. Okay. Yes, time to coffee. Absolutely. We've got to do that. Good morning, everybody in the chat room. And even Slump3317 joining us this morning. Good morning, Slump. Thanks so much. ¿Cómo estás? Says EM Triple. And Erwin's here. Hello, hello. Ozcoder. Shy Sharp from the Netherlands. I see that and I keep thinking you're in Chicago. Benjamin's here. Benjamin Howarth. You remember he joined us for a stream a week or two ago, and we talked about web performance. Ashnor and Standby Reloading. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. Yes, Benjamin, the mug, there's a link to the store on the front of Twitch. If you just scroll down below the video, you'll see store. And I actually have 3 different colors of this now available. Fuchsia, it's kind of like a fuchsia, magenta, something like that. I don't do color naming. It looks like purple. I've got the blue and I've got black, and a number of folks have purchased them, and thanks so much everybody who has acquired them. There we go. Good morning, Tagaron, and Nerd100 is here. Hello, hello. I've been tinkering around just a little bit, trying to get my Keybase GPG PGP key working properly with GitHub this morning, and I know I'm not doing it quite right, because I want to start signing my commits here. Oh, very cool. Thank you, Tagaron, for ordering that. Hello, Assimilator. Welcome to the channel. We're going to write some code today. Let's get some music playing in the background. Of course, I always like to have the music in the background. Today, let's play... This was originally called Chartreuse. I really enjoy this one. This is, of course, music to code by from our friend Carl Franklin. Carl was with us on Wednesday. Oh my gosh, Benjamin, thank you so much for the subscription. I really appreciate you. Tier 3! Holy crow, Benjamin, thank you very, very much. You're going to get the super C# emote. There it is. There's a little blue cap that you get as well as, of course, the C# bot emote. Thank you so much for that subscription. And you'll get the little black mug to indicate that you're a subscriber here on the channel. But I'm going to match that, and we're going to make a donation together to Girl Develop It, and we're gonna make a really big donation here at the beginning of September. I can't wait. Yes, we are going to talk about Automapper today. Pac-Man Jr. Hanselman did have a blog post about GPG. I was using Keybase, and I'm having a little bit of a challenge getting my key flowing back and forth between Keybase and GPG on disk for GitHub signing. I want to make sure I have all that correct. Thank you, Dev Chatter, for the host. Let's see. Thinking about submitting an article to MSDN about C# to TypeScript mirroring. Do they have strict requirements about such things? When you say MSDN, do you mean the docs, Microsoft Docs? They do have a strict set, not a strict, but they do have a target, a destination of what types of code they want in the docs. The magazine. No, I think that's something that would be very interesting for them. And I think that would be very interesting to see. So, absolutely. Reach out to those folks and they will certainly respond one way or the other on that. We did leave mid-refactor, and I want to make sure that we take a step back, because there was a lot of differing opinions at the time. And when I see a lot of differing opinions like that in different directions, people are saying, "Oh no, you got to go this way. Oh, we think we should do this." I want to take a step back. I want to reevaluate, because as the host, as the guy whose face is actually out here producing this code that you're seeing, I want to make sure that we have a unified front, that we have a standard approach that we're going to take with the code that we're writing. I want to make sure that we don't distract folks that are trying to learn from us, that we don't confuse them, and in taking that step back and having a little bit of a discussion on Discord yesterday, to make sure that we're all kind of on the same page. There's a little bit of renaming we want to do. There's definitely a push from some folks to bring in Automapper. So I think we should do a little bit of that renaming. I don't want to move code around just yet, because I think the consensus we saw on Discord is it's going to lead to a bunch of significant rewrites and changes in how that's structured. And I want to minimize that. I want to finish the current task and then proceed into that type of rewriting. Now, I think Automapper is a low-hanging fruit that we can bring in and help us finish this little bit of refactoring. We've gone through and we've seen the pain of building this mapping between these objects that we have, and we've got several layers of objects. Some of them aren't all in the place that we want them to end up. So we're going to fix that up a little bit. A lot of time taken debating how to do things. Yes, that's exactly my concern, EM Triple. And those discussions sometimes have value. I think they got a little bit away from us yesterday, and it's a little frustrating. Good morning, Shmuley. Thanks for joining us. So that's where I want to go with our code today. Now, I want to finish getting my Keybase stuff set up here. So I believe I've already set up my. Let me see here. What can I show? I think I can just show my Keybase. I think we're okay to show this. Installing Visual Studio on a new machine and multitasking. Well, that's fun. So I've been using Keybase for a while, and I'm bringing it back, getting it back into the loop. Here I put down a new. Am I still using the one that's on my gist? I thought I was using the same one, but I don't see everybody following me that I'm getting reported that is following me. And it lit up and signed me right in with the exact same account that I had before. But here we go. There's my Keybase. And right, I've got it. It wasn't hooked up to all my services here. It wasn't hooked up to Reddit. It wasn't hooked up to my DNS. And I had to go and reauthorize that. That'll be 2 hours. Now, Visual Studio install isn't a 2 hour. Turrican, good afternoon. Finally made it to a Twitch stream live. Well, welcome, Turrican. Thanks for joining us. I think we all have the same goal in mind. That's to write good code. Yep. We do have to stay civilized, and I want to make sure that we're all on the same page. And I want to make sure, and I wanted to get signing working here quickly before we got too far into this. So let me make this a little bit easier to see. There we go. So I've got my, I had Keybase generate a PGP key for me. I haven't had one working for a while that I've stuck to. So I recreated that. Finally get to watch live. Well, hello, Just Call Mead. Or is it Just Call Me Ad? Let me know. But thanks for joining us. So I got this set up, and I was able to export my key and get it into the GPG keyring that is over here in Git Bash. Right? So if right, here's the instructions for how to get Keybase IO, GPG, and Git to sign commits, right? So I already have a PGP key, or GPG, depending on which way you go. And if I look at it, I do have, there's my key and all my email addresses. So there's my key ID. I've exported that, right? That's my secret key ID. I've exported that, and I've got my git config set up with that information. What is it? I want to do a list. I wanted to show. Not get all, dash get all. Still not showing it. Thanks so much. Dash L. Right, so there's that. User signing key, that's correct. GPG sign, true. Yeah, the Keybase app is very convenient for keeping all this together, and then as you log into other machines, having the same thing. So I've got that available, and it should start signing it. Now, when I go over here to PowerShell, and let me go down, right, so here's the thing. In PowerShell, GPG doesn't pop up. PGP doesn't sign up. I opened a simple repository, right? I literally just wrote a whatever in here. I don't care. Just to make sure that it signs properly. And, hey, wait a sec. Now I wasn't getting that before. Cool. Now it's signing. Fantastic. So if I get log, author, now it doesn't, why doesn't it show that it's signed? All right. That's fine. It sure looks like it's working properly. And I believe my PGP key is on GitHub now. Wrong one. Go back to GitHub. Because I have it. I've git log show signature. Ah, thank you. No. See, now I've got too many console windows open. I'm confusing myself. Not that one. This one. There we go. All right. Git log show signature. There it is. All right. Cool. Thank you. So I've got that set up now. Good. and that should primary key fingerprint, but the RSA key ID is this. Right, let me go here. Settings, keys. Yeah, 0265A5. 0265A5. Okay, good. We've got it. All right. Cool. Which app had huge bugs on Windows? Yep, I am trying to decide which ones are the right ones moving forward. I want to make sure that we're at a good place that everybody can learn. Right? That's always the goal. Keybase app on Windows has issues. I haven't had any issues yet. That's just me. Your mileage may vary. So here's CoreWiki. Great. It does its thing. No complaints here. Hey, Turrican, thanks so much for the cheer. Oh my gosh, yes, you can do this. I'm not sure why we didn't get the text to voice. And I will match that cheer, and we're gonna together make a donation to Girl Develop It. Thank you so much. And I think, yeah, that puts Turrican at the top of the cheer scoreboard for this month. That's really cool. And actually, our GitHub scoreboard didn't reload properly when I changed over here. Let's see if we can. There we go. So this is where CoreWiki is, and we are working right now in the Project New Data project because we're re-architecting how we interact with our data. We're changing how we fetch data, how we write data. So this is where we're working, and it's a little bit. It's diverging from our development branch. Hello, Voxel. Thanks for joining us. Learning heaps watching it done the hard way and then showing how to do it a better way, especially the DDD changes. Yeah, there's a couple things that we're going to see improve there. So we're going to start to introduce Automapper today. We've gone through, we've refactored a couple of different pages, and we're going to start to use Automapper here. Now, Automapper is a tool that allows us to do that left-right code that we're doing so much. Let's open this Visual Studio, and we're going to do that one. And what else did I have down there? We don't need Creative Cloud open right now. We don't need Spotify. There we go. So we've written a lot of code to do. Right, we've got these DTO types of things here that are doing this stupid left-right code, right? Left, right, copy stuff from here, copy stuff to over there. And it's a pain in the neck. Every time we want to translate these between two different types of objects, it's another set of these types of things, right? When we add another layer into our application, we end up writing another set of these to translate, and it's a pain in the neck to maintain that. Turrican asks, do you know when the next Blazor version comes out? Hope they make it soon to 1.0. Let me back up and let's talk about Blazor for a second. Blazor is an experiment. It's something that the team wants to measure and make sure that there's a customer base for, that they don't get burned on like several previous libraries and tools that they've built, and the technical community has decided, here comes Microsoft, boom, let's go somewhere completely different. I don't think that's going to happen, that the community is going to change like that. However, Microsoft leadership is very concerned that they're going to commit and put a significant investment into Blazor, and that just like they did with Silverlight, suddenly it's not available to be used, and it's blocked in all the places that customers want to be able to have it. XPredict says, I know nothing about coding, but it looks very hard. Well, XPredict, we're going to be getting in at about an intermediate level. I like to keep things I like to explain things at a very low level so that people can understand it. And we always welcome questions here on the different things that we're building. So please don't feel ashamed. Don't have any concerns about asking questions. There's lots of friends there in the chat room that will be happy to answer your questions. And if any of them gets nasty, I'm wielding the ban hammer, and we'll make sure that we put them in their place. Just ordered a mug. Thank you, Brave Cobra, for ordering a mug. And Brave Cobra is referring to one of these. Works on my machine. Ship it. There's also phone cases and tablet cases there if you're interested in that. So Blazor is, like I said, it's an experiment, and they're wading into it slowly, completely open source, to make sure that WebAssembly doesn't suddenly get cut off in somebody's browser because they don't like it. All right. Have I had the opportunity to introduce or stand up a project with Core Identity? Asks Chevy454. So Chevy, this project that you're looking at here, let's go back over here. This is our CoreWiki project. This uses ASP.NET Core Identity. If you want to see how we did it, if you want to see some of the work that we did as part of it, take a look at, we now have a YouTube playlist. Let me just bring that up and show it real quick. So youtube.com/C#Fritz. Hey, the URL was right there. And this guy comes up. I've never seen this guy with the hair. But if you scroll down here a little bit, there is Building the CoreWiki. And you can see all the video that we've used to build different pieces of this. In particular, you may be interested in, if I scroll back just far enough here, we had Scott Hunter join us, and I'm looking for Hunter. You know what? I don't think we did it in CoreWiki, but Scott Hunter joined us and talked about introducing identity. Stop it with the hi there. You with the hair. There we go. And we started introducing identity here with Scott Hunter. And then a little bit further along, we did some more on that. So you're welcome to download the source code to the project. Take a look at what we did with Scott. And there's some other streams that you can find in there. If you do a search, you'll see me mention it and talk about it. As always, I walk through all of that stuff very slowly so that people can learn exactly how it works. I want to make sure I look through here. It's like learning a new language. At first, gibberish when you're learning programming. Yep, absolutely. Rual. Is that Rual? No. Raul Storage. Is that it? Really? I'm going to make sure I pronounce your names right. JavaScript guys have had isomorphic JavaScript for a while. Now we get isomorphic C#. Yes. If Blazor really takes off, and it does get committed to as a project, having C# everywhere it's pretty nice. Okay, black version of it. I lift my magic sword and say, by the power of moderator tools. Yes. Yes. And somebody gets hurt. Facu Rodriguez says, good luck with the surgery. Thank you. I'll mention that now, and I'll mention it at the end. I'm going in for surgery on Tuesday. I'm having this sinus repaired. It's 100% blocked, so I literally cannot sleep at night because I can't breathe when I lay one way or the other. So that's why I've been looking more and more just terrible recently. So I will be out. I will not be able to host streams for a good part of next week. Definitely Tuesday and Thursday I will not be on. We'll see about Friday, but I'm going to try and be back for Saturday. There's a point where you know enough about get the gist of what something is doing, even if you don't understand the details. That sort of hurdle where you go from "this makes no sense" to "I can figure this out." Yes. Nobody ever did. Nobody ever did what? Nobody ever did what, Brave Cobra? Programming principles are pretty much the same in all. Yes. Absolutely. You can run .NET in the Blazor. It's made up. It's like raw. Okay. I wasn't sure if you were invoking the way that the doctor says Raul. Yeah, the guy with the hair. Yeah, I know. So thank you, Ancient Coder. It's a long time coming. In December, if you go back and even look at those streams, you can see and hear me gurgling. I've got phlegm. That wasn't because I had a cold. It's because my nose wasn't working properly. So, Jeff.sleep. We're going to be. I'm very much looking forward to that. And while I'm off, please feel free to submit all the pull requests you'd like. I fully expect that when I come back, we'll end up doing a bit of pull request reviewing before we get back into some new functionality. And of course, you're welcome to chat on Discord with each other if you want to keep pushing and doing some stuff there. So, await Fritz. Yes. That's a good one. All right, Turan. I like that. Yes. All right, couple points for you there. Yeah. So let's talk about Automapper. So Automapper, some folks, and I see what is that Adam Sugar is saying. It can be too complex in larger projects where you want to have your own serialization code. I don't know. I've heard people say that. To be perfectly frank, I've never used Automapper in a project. I've read through some of the documentation a long time ago, but I haven't used it in one of my own projects. So this is going to be an experience for me. So I'm going to click through to the Getting Started guide. What is Automapper? No, I don't. Why use it? Yeah, okay. How do I use Automapper? Show me the code. Get me right into it. Let's go. What do I install? So Automapper is going to let us do that left-right code, right? So let's figure out how to install this. Get it into the projects that we need it appropriately. And you can break up your mappings using a feature called Profiles. I've heard that as well. Where do I configure Automapper? How do I test my mappings? Can I see a demo? DNR-TV. Wow, DNR-TV is kind of... hasn't been updated in a long time. All right. So mapper map this to that. Right. Initialize config, create map. So where should we introduce and bring in the mapping? Install package Automapper. Yes. In which project? Show me the code. Show me the code. Absolutely. Let's see what Ben has here for us. In the web project. Okay. Let's go to the web project. Manage NuGet packages. Doing the thing over here. Automapper. So we'll simplify the code that we already have, and then we'll finish implementing a couple things. We'll want it injected in DI to load the profiles. Okay. 22.3 million downloads. Whoa. Now, while that's installing, go ahead, go do your thing. I want to call out here, Automapper supports .NET Standard version. Why isn't this letting me scroll? I'd like to scroll, please. I'd like to scroll, please. Thank you. Supports .NET Standard version 1.3, .NET Standard 2.0, .NET Core 2.0, and .NET Framework 4.5. What's funny about that is if you support .NET Standard 2.0, it supports the others as well. But if you don't, right, if you don't have .NET Framework with the .NET Standard bindings installed, you don't get it. So, all right. You'll likely want Automapper in each project. I'd set up a map config setup in Bootstrapper project so that a presentation layer can call that in startup in the regular DI container. Yeah, that's where it feels like we're going to end up going. All right. So right now, our startup class over here, we're configuring everything for our services, for our dependency injection, right? And dependency injection is what's going to give us that ability to just receive different objects inside of a method later on, not just in a method, but in a class later on in the project. So I'm going to add, I think I can do it pretty high up here. Let's add Automapper. And then what I will do is I'm going to go down into our, where did we put these? Configuration? Yeah, there it is, startup. And let's create a class in here. Configure Automapper. Spell mapper correctly. So in this way, I have a extension method. Sure. And we will call it configure Automapper. This. And this is actually coming off of this services object, iService collection. iService collection. Okay. So this extension method, now we put all of our configuration here, so whenever we need to change Automapper, we have one file to change, and it just trickles down into the entire application. So I doubt you want dependency injection, to be honest, unless you want to mock your mappings. Let's come back to that. Not sold on that. Member names cannot be the same as their enclosing type. Blah, 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 blah. Bite me. All right. All right, so I have a class. Here it is. Thank you, Quadrophobia, for joining us. And thank you, XPredictX, for the follow. I appreciate you joining us here. Why didn't... Oh, I called it add Automapper here. It should be configure Automapper. There we go. Hey, Jay Roseguard, good to see you. All right, so now I have someplace to land Automapper. Create a mapper configuration instance and initialize configuration via the constructor. var config new mapper configuration config equals blah 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 blah. All right. This seems... All right, well, let's see what happens here. So let's do that. I'm going to copy that over here. New mapper configuration. I should get that blowing up. Yep. So I need a use Automapper statement. So we're going to create a map from this object to that object, and we're going to add... I don't need to add a profile. I don't have profiles yet. Okay. So we only want the add profile part and create profile class in the application layer. Let's do the simple ones first here. So right now, I have inside this models, I have what we're right now calling DTOs. And I want to do the mappings, right? From, let's simplify. I wrote this DTO extensions method here that would convert a comment DTO to a domain object. And this feels kind of weird to have an extension method to do this, because we're going to end up having these for all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these things. And that feels silly. And Furthermore, these aren't DTOs, right? These are view models that we're passing down to the view to be formatted and then returned to our project. So I think as a first step, let's map into these things. What do you think of that, chat room? Right? Let's map into these things and let's rename them from DTO to view models. And let's even rename our folder from models, because they're not models, they're view models. So that's what I want to start with to introduce Automapper into the project. So let's do this. I'm going to call this view models. And now start to rename these things to, I'm just going to call it article create, because it's inside of a view models. Yes, it's inside of a view models namespace that I'm going to change right here. Let's just find it everywhere and replace it so we get that refactoring done. And I'm only going to search in the current project because that's the only place that it really is. So let's replace all of those. What's the difference between a view model and a DTO? DTO is a data transfer object. Let's make sure we have that. Really, they're doing the same type of thing, right? They're plain old CLR objects or C# objects. They just have a bunch of properties in them. DTO is intended, though, to go between layers of our application. They're data transfer from this layer to that layer, where a view model is being exposed to our user interface. And it's something that the folks that use the user interface, that they're interacting with. So it helps to provide, by calling these two different things, it clearly shows here's where we're exposed to users interacting with them. Would a view model be a DTO in things like data annotations? Yes. That's a very good point. We can use data annotations on these things to help generate some of that validation that we want to occur browser side in this case. It does become a bit confusing since we're using pages as opposed to views, so it seemed like page model would be proper convention. So the page model is what we're using, but the primary objects that we're passing down to be interacted with, we're going to place inside of here. So I'm just going to go down the line here and rename these, and it's going to give me this funny little prompt that says, do you want to rename that thing everywhere? Yes I do. And we'll just complete this little bit of refactoring, and then we'll start with the mapping. I mean, look at this with the article details. There's like 20 lines of code there that we went through the pain of writing, and now we're gonna see how we can get rid of it, right? So I want to get these things named properly so I don't have more places to have to refactor. Yes, thank you. And we'll do the comment now. Thank you. I get it. All right. Save all the changes, and now I'm going to go back over to configure Automapper and close everything but this. All right. So we want to create a map. There's two pages that we've been working on, right? We've been working on the create page where we're going to create pages in our wiki, and we've been working on the details page. John Unit Fberg? Thanks for joining us, John Unit. I haven't noticed you there before. View models may contain logic very specific to presenting information. Yes, not just specific to presenting, but formatting for that presentation, and also that first layer of validation you want to do before something starts to interact with the application. So, isn't the convention to store the view model or page model in the page CS file? They are just part of the page models. They are. We can move them there if we'd like. But let's do this mapping that we've already walked down, right? And we'll move them around in a little bit. So this is our create page, and right now we do this get article to not that one. Bad idea. This needs to change to view models. Okay. So this is the article create. Right, this is the information about the article we want to create and have it coming back into our project. Let's get rid of that. And then here's the validation we're doing on that. Orthymnus, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate that. So in Razor Pages, if you remember, it does, right, we're going to do this bind property, which is going to take, in the case of our create page, the topic and the content for the article, and it's going to bind them together and stick it into this property when we post the page back, right? When we hit save, it's going to get combined up and jammed into this object. So this object, this article create view model, we could certainly put things on that, right? Like topics required, right? We can put that here and kind of force the issue that that's required. Content, you know, maybe there's a minimum length, maybe there's a maximum length there we want to enforce. We can figure that out a little bit later. But this is now a very, right, view-specific concern that we want to enforce, and that's okay. But we do this create new article command right here that takes in information about the author. We're mapping that article information into this so that we can send it off to be created. Now, is this our first mapping? It feels a little bit more complex than just simple left-right, right? Because we're going to be, right, we're grabbing some other things. The only things that are really left-right assigned this are the content and the topic. For example, we wanted to pull a comment view model and an article view model into our article page. Yes. Do the other one first. This one is a little bit complex. Let me go do details first. The details page has a very similar type of left-right interaction. And it's not... Did I just pass the get? Yeah. So on get, and then I wrote this little extension method called from domain, which is doing, right, here it is, right? I've got these 23 lines of code that's really just taking the comments object, child object inside the article, and turning it into a collection that's attached to an article details view model and just copying over all that article stuff. Let's make this our first mapping. Hey, Moz! Thanks so much for joining us. So I want to, let me pause for a second. I want to thank Moz here real quick. I don't know if you saw, but Wednesday we did a crossover stream podcast with the fellas from .NET Rocks with Carl and Richard. And the question came up about the Rainbow Beard Challenge. Then, hey, what is that? The folks in the chat room want us to ask about the Rainbow Beard Challenge. And I had to bring up, Moz, the conversation that we had on Twitter that, hey, wouldn't it be great if I had one of those mugs and the beard was rainbow? And I went through and explained that, and I gave you credit there on the podcast for suggesting the rainbow beard and it turning into this 5,000 follower challenge. So I just wanted to reach out and say thank you and let you know that we're acknowledging that. So, oh no, Reddit had a data breach recently? Yes, brilliant. So Benjamin, the follow isn't, right? The subscribe doesn't count towards this, but the follow does, right? It's just follows. Let's write a test to test that mapping. To test this mapping? Yes, you have done that, Benjamin. Fantastic. Yep. All right. Any mapping. Would Automapper still work if the front end was JavaScript? In the back end it will, but can it map C# to JavaScript classes? Well, your JavaScript classes, right, they're going to need to be built and populated by some sort of an API or something. And I think the concern that drive there is that you just got to format it properly being output. The announcement, that's wonderful. I'm going to open that and just leave it open here so I can come back and cry over it later. We had a security incident. That was 2 weeks ago. But nice. Thanks so much. Makes me sad. Web API view model serialization. Well, there you go. So let's set up this mapping, and then I'm gonna ask for a little bit of help understanding what you would write a test for on this. So we're going to create a map between our article details view model and our article domain object. So let's set that up. So, right, when I say create map here, this is taking it from some source object to a destination. So our source object is core domain article, and the destination we want to put it into is view models article details. That feels too easy. You know what I mean? Like, really? That's all I needed to do? I mean, come on. You know? There's got to be more to it than just that. Um... 100 character key pass generated. Wow, that's a long password. That's all I need to do for now. Well, at some point, coming back over here, we need to wake up Automapper and replace this line of code. Right? Unless you need to do something complicated. I don't. There will be more to it if one side doesn't have a child property like list. Okay. So what I'm hearing though is should I create a test that verifies this method does its thing right now, and then we replace it and call Automapper instead? Or do I go into my details page and inspect the article object here? Wonderful. All right. Let's start building. Let's add a folder here. Details. Right. So we have 2 for create. We're going to do on get here. So let's add a class. This is on get for details. Yes, there it is. All right. I'm never considering going that high. Inspect the article. Yeah, let's do that. It's basically like EF can be. It can be super easy. Then you involve relationships and other complexity, and it gets way less easy. Yeah. Should you make a test before doing a major change? Let's do it. Public void. Woo. Should map article correctly. Yeah. So let's do this. Devin Raider, thank you so much for bringing your Twitch Prime subscription and using it here in my channel. Devin used his free Twitch Prime subscription. So if you have Amazon Prime, you can, of course, turn that into Twitch Prime for free. Get rid of all the ads that you see before channels here on Twitch. And you get one free channel subscription. So thank you very much for bringing your channel subscription here. You're going to get to use the C# Fritz bot, right? It's the .NET bot. But you can use C# bot in an emote, as an emote in any chat room that you'd like. And we're going to match that and send a donation over to Girl Develop It. Oh my gosh. Turrican, thanks so much for using your Twitch Prime subscription as well. Awesome stuff. Thank you. And that's 2 donations. 3, including Benjamin's, that I'm going to match and make donations over to Girl Develop It. Very cool stuff. Thank you. My jQuery plugin is receiving JSON as my API are returning already. Yeah. You have to write an extra line of code for each property name that doesn't match. Yeah. Write it once, though, and it just works everywhere, right? I would write a profile, add the mapping, test it, and use it in the onGet. There you go. Moz is showing off the emote. Very cool stuff. As a father of 2 daughters, it's important to me that we support folks like Girl Develop It. The test should now test the toDomain method that will replace. Yes, this is going to exercise that little part that's mapping the article. What I'm thinking, well, I need a constructor here that will set up that mock mediator, right? I have base fixture over here that sets up the mock mediator. And don't we have to? No, never mind. All right, over here, this one. So mediator equals new mock iMediator. We're gonna need this. Spell it right. Give me one of these. All right, so I have a mediator object, and we're gonna create that as a read-only field so that it doesn't get changed as we're going through working on the page. Now, I would normally mark this with fact to indicate this is something that should be tested. And do I have any errors? I do have a couple of errors out here right now. Let me correct these so that we can get the unit tests running. Cannot convert. This is inside of details during the post. What did I do here? toDomain, this is returning a... This is returning the wrong type of object. This should be returning a core dot. That's not the right one. Just to make sure this works properly and to get... There we go. Okay. When we did that renaming, refactoring, it broke that a little bit. There we go. So now I should start to see some of these, some checks and things appear here. I'm going to open this up so we can really zoom in on the details so we can see this executing. Let me make sure here. Anyone know what length ASP.NET Core is set up to support out of the box? What length of what? I'm always suspect of sites that limits password length to a low character count. Oh, the password length. I don't think it is set up with a length because it hashes behind the scenes. Let's diverge for a second, and I agree, Bugfound. I do get suspicious of that. What we can do, because the source code is available for us, we can actually go down into the ASP.NET projects. And if we look in the repositories, we look for identity. There's ASP.NET Core identity. We can actually look at the source. And if we look, I am looking for the user object. Let's do this. Wrong button. Is it identity user? There it is. So here's identity user. There's the ID, identity user, name, username, email. There's password hash. I don't see a constraint on it there. So now let's look and see where password hash is being used. No, actually, I don't think there is a limit on the page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here. And the question is on the page when you create. Right, so here's the page, account, reset password. No limit. So that's in the HTML. And then behind the scenes, string length 100. That's a pretty good. That's a default constraint. Right? That is, yes, that can be extended in configuration, but by default, you've got 100 characters there that will allow you to submit on the reset password page. I think that's pretty good for a password. So, when folks ask you for 16 or something like that, that's when I start to worry. So, looking at our details page, right, we're going to actually create in this unit test and pass in everything we need in order to build this. So, minimum length 6, yes. And that's another thing that you can extend. You can open up a little bit. So right now we're receiving a whole bunch of stuff here that we're not going to end up using for our onGet. Really, the only thing for the get that I'm using is the mediator object. I'm not even using configuration. Right? Where is configuration being referenced anywhere? One reference. And it's there. Oops. Now I've got a red area down here. Right. Sorry. Don't need that. Unless configuration is being used on the details output, right? And I'm not sure. Nope. It's nowhere used on that page. So that was an extra thing that was being requested here that we don't need. Do we need the clock? Is that being used anywhere? Let's check that reference. Okay, it's being used on the submission of the comment, and even then, we're going to end up moving that out. But I don't need it for my get testing. The only thing I think I need is mediator. Hey, Commander Alul. Good to see you. I know I'm pronouncing that wrong, but Commander, it's good to see you. I think it was for the comments. Yeah. So, obligatory. It's XKCD standby reloading. All right. Let me scroll down here. So let's write this get test. So in creating this, all that I need to pass in is the mediator at this point. So I do still need to do some arranging, right? To do configure the mediator to return an article domain object. Got to figure that out. Arrange, act, and then assert, right? These are the 3 steps in all of our unit tests, right? Set up the unit test, do what you're actually looking for in the test, and then verify the test passed. So act is going to be, so we'll call this system under test, SUT, you see people abbreviate, and we will create a new details, is it details page model? Is that what it's called up here? Nah, just details model. That's fine. And we're going to pass in mediator object, right? That's the output of what's been mocked for us. And now all these other things I don't really care about. Nobody in this test is actually going to use it. All right. And then my assert, well, I'm going to do an onGet here and pass in a slug. So the slug is going to be, you know, foo, whatever. I don't care. And now this needs to be, right, this is asynchronously occurring. It's interesting to show how much you are forced to review your code in the process. Yes, it is. And it will be a real DTO instead of a domain object. It will. That's another refactoring that we have to do. So this should be, right, async. Now, when we did the async over here in our other test, right, where'd it go? We did the await right in the middle of this, and our test is an async task. So we'll do the same thing here. Okay. So I'm just going to do, not async, I'm sorry, await. So now it's done the onGet. Now I want to inspect. We need some things here. Cool. Right, so now I want to check out my object there. Now, that's fine. So I would do things like assert, assert equal, right? I expect foo, and we're actually going to check the, where is it? The article. Now this is the view model. I want to check and see on that article what it says the slug is. And do I have auto test on? Live unit test? It is on. Why aren't you testing that? Do I have an error somewhere? No. Do it. Run my test. Come on. Oh, look at that. Lots and lots and lots of build errors. All right, let's fix these real quick. This. Oh, you know what? These are on the Razor pages. I don't care about the Razor pages so much. But over here, this is article row CSHTML. What was it upset about? Type or namespace models. And it doesn't say where. Up top there. So we should be able to change this to using view models. Right? And that should fix that. And we got rid of the extension on this. Cool. So that takes care of all of that. This one, that's article row. List comments and create comments. All right, let's see if we can clean that up real quick. Just, where is it? List comments. No. There it is. Yep, this should be view models, and we'll get rid of that, and everybody's happy. Same thing in create comments. View models, comment. That should take care of all that. Last one is in on post over here. This should go to that. Look at this. I'm seeing these disappear slowly on me here. So now if I build everything. Gotta go. Thanks for the stream. Good to see everybody. Hey, thanks so much for checking in. Stand by reloading. Yeah, refactoring for Razor pages. It's stuff still in flux. comments partial is still referencing models. And you know what? Actually, we should put that into our view imports. Right. At using CoreWiki view models. Now it's just available everywhere. And this turns into just that. And now that should get rid of that last one for us. Good. Alright. Clean those up, and this, and that. Uh-oh, I'm seeing some red already here, fellas. I'm sorry. I'm seeing some red here, team. We've got an issue we're going to need to address. I'll take care of those later. And it's all in this new test that we wrote because we're not done writing the test and we're not done implementing. Need some R# love? Nah. Cookie Bow. Or is it Cookie Bow? Welcome. Thanks for joining us. So it's not mapping that slug into something, and it's mostly because our mediator isn't returning an object with that slug appropriately. Cookie Bow, thanks so much for the follow. I appreciate that. That adds to our Rainbow Beard Challenge, getting us closer to that magic 5,000 number. If we get to 5,000 before October 20th, this soup catcher is going to be dyed rainbow colors. And tell your friends, tell your families, tell your pets. Go sign up for Twitch, join us here on the channel. So they can have fun and learn how to write code just like you're doing. Alright, so I need to mock out the mediator so it's actually returning an article that we want to interact with. So here's what I'm thinking, and tell me if I'm wrong. I'm going to receive an article here. And I'm going to turn around and I'm going to say mediator setup. Now, in our other test that we ran, right? Where did it go? That's the system under test. We actually set up mediator to return something. There it is. Set up with a default cancellation token returns async something. And that's exactly what I'm going to do here. So we're going to set up, right, some sort of m.send. And the first is, I don't really care about what it is. And it's, come on, Jeff. We're expecting, oh my gosh, Jester98X, thank you so much for using your Twitch Prime subscription here. I'm going to match that subscription, and we'll together make a donation to Girl Develop It. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. But you're going to get to use the C# bot emote everywhere you go here on Twitch. Very cool stuff. Thank you. Where is it? We were in the on get. That's up here. So we're sending a get article object. So it's any get article, and I'm going to need a control dot so we get our using statements ironed out. So we're sending that, and with a default cancellation token. There we go. Awesome. Now why am I still getting red on the set up the on send there? Returns async. Now it's still I don't get that. Mediator setup send it is any one of these, default that. Returns async the thing. Right, I'm going to return asynchronously that article that's passed in. Why is that? Cannot be inferred from the usage. Why not? Sure it can. It is any get article. Oh, I didn't put the things there. That's better. Maybe a half a rainbow beard if we get stranded close? No. Do people ever use DI? I try to avoid it. Yeah, mock it out appropriately. Where is your test getting the article passed in from? So glad you asked, Ashley. So instead of a fact, if we turn this into a theory, we can now specify what type of object to pass in. And that data that's going to be passed in with it, right? And we do this. Rainbow mustache and eyebrows. Hey, whoa. Yes. So we're going to specify this as a theory, and then we're going to end up being able to pass in some additional information. So you can see we do it here, where we specify here's the various inline data points that we're going to submit. So I'm going to say theory, and then we can specify inline data. So this way we can provide several different shapes of articles and make sure that it all works properly. So we can do things like pass in comments and see if they're mapped, or not pass in comments and make sure that we still end up with clean comments over there. So inline data, and I'm just going to pass in those objects. So I'm going to pass in a new article, right? And come here, you give me that. So now I'm going to pass in and just to get us started, I'm going to say slug equals not foot. Now why do I have a thing there? Must be a constant expression. Rats. There was a way to do this. No, not for the eyebrows. Not for the hair. No. No. We're not going that far. Come on now. That's gonna make me terrible looking. We're not going there. I do wear a hat at all times. Exactly. You're never gonna see the hair if I do that. The object from the build the object from the parameter passed in. That's not a bad idea. Let's do that. So string slug, string title, and let's do list comments, and let's make that by default null. All right. So now I can turn this around and say foo. I can't do new list. Right, passing in that collection of comments is going to be weird. Let me just drop that for right now. So now I can say article equals new article. Slug equals that passed in slug. Title equals title. Right? Sure it does. Topic. Rats. Alright. So that's a thing. Get rid of this. And now I can say onGet async, and we're getting article dot slug. So now this should do right, I'm checking for article dot slug that those line up. Wow, I did use var. Where are you saying I should use var? String helper test 23. Pain in my neck. Go away. Now, why am I getting a red X here? What doesn't it like? What's the error we're hitting? Run that test again. Interesting, it's not allowing me to see the tests here. Let's run all the tests. That's new in the latest Visual Studio? I don't think it's a Visual Studio deal. All right. So we've crashed out here. Let's take a look at our exception. Object reference not set to an instance of an object during manage view count. All right, so manage view count is actually doing this whole thing. Request cookies slug. Ugh. Ugh. All right, so I don't really want to interact, and I don't really want to deal with this thing. So I'm going to, once again, steal some code, because we have page model extensions here that sets up the page context appropriately for us. So when we created the page model, I'm just going to fire this onto it so that I end up with some of that. And I think, does this set up cookies? It does not. But I will have a context that I'll be able to interact with and add that, mock out that request. I haven't hit that error. Auto fixture, that library can create objects for you automatically. Yes. Dink Lionheart. Is it Dink Lionheart? It looks right. You're right, auto fixture will help with that, and I think that might be a better way to go with this. But, where was I on get? Wrong on get. This one. So there's the mediator on setup. So I'm going to say SUT dot, and it's the page model extensions. I want to add page context. Add page context. User, I don't care what the user's name is. And their user ID, I don't care either. But that adds page context now. And it works. That feels kind of good, right? That we do have it mapping the article correctly right now, right? It's at least getting the slug over there. Now, I could do that same check on all of our other fields, which is going to be even more, right? Article dot topic, and make sure that that works. And live unit testing will tell me here. See, it's the checks are misaligned. Let me reopen that. Still misaligned because of the word wrap is what it is. Okay. That is how you say it. Fantastic. All right. Yeah, the var thing, it should have found that earlier. That feels like the editor config deal wasn't lined up properly. So I'm at least testing these two fields, and I'm sure that they come through properly, right? If there were other fields that I really wanted to go through and test, right, we could do that, and it's this bit in here, right? It's doing comments. I mean, I could check author ID, I could check version, view count, you know, whatever. Let's make view count and version random numbers, just to make it interesting. I don't need that one anymore. It's the other on get. Right. So version. Random equals new math dot random. Right? I didn't think random was a static. Where the heck is random? Hey, Brendan. Where the heck did random go? It's on system. Why did I think? I thought it was on. I thought it was on math before. All right, RDM dot, and then we'll just say next, and we'll make this somewhere between 1 and 10,000. Doesn't matter. The point is, it's not, you know, pulling some number out of thin air, right? And I should be able to do very similar, assert equals here. And we will make this check on view count. Make sure that it's mapped that properly. And version. Now I've already got some red X's here, right? It hasn't mapped view count properly. Actually, the view count coming off of it is going to be one more. Fraggy played very well this week for Team Finland. Awesome. Assert not same would be a nice check also. Sure, we can check that also. Well, they're two different types, so I'm not sure we really need to do that. The article view count should actually be this plus 1. There it goes. All right. So now we've got that mapping. We're verifying that it's doing it properly. Yeah, there you go. Smab picked it up. We've got it. All right. So we know that we're mapping properly from our domain object to our view model object that we're sending down to the details page. And let's start ripping this out and replacing it with Automapper. I think that's cool. I think that's fair. So I'm going to go back to the Automapper documentation because I forget how to do this. I don't need to add profiles. I don't want naming conventions, replacing character. Don't care. I do it. Just do it. Mapper reset. Mapper initialize. No. Do the map. Not flattening. No. Can use structural equality via a different assert. Yeah. It's surprisingly hard to get Automapper set up. It's whatever. So I've written the configuration. I have it configuring Automapper here, but where does that config go so that I always get, right? Or is that just static and hanging out there now? Right now, somebody was saying that we need to receive on our details page an IMapper. If I'm receiving, yeah, I need to receive a mapper, which means I'm going to need to pass in the Automapper. Right, is that a thing? Create that. Good. Now I've got that. And that means that my unit test is broken. I likely should, but same idea. Sounds like a good pull request. What's J Roseguard got? Introduce some fluent assertions. Sure. I welcome a pull request on that. Assert configuration is valid. Container, builder, register, instance. I'm going to copy what you wrote there, Brave Cobra. And let's put that over here. And this is config. And this is going to be, right, services, it's not register instance, right? No, it's add. Why am I blanking here? Add a transient. No, wait, I don't. I want to add this as a singleton, don't I? And this is going to be config. And this as. right? And I want to create that as, yeah, Automapper. Good. That should work. I inject a container builder, not iService collection. Okay. So now the mapper is available. Part of me feels like I should return this. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Because then right, when I'm over here, this. Let's do equals, right? That dot yep, we need that, but we also need read-only field. Yep, configure Automapper. And I don't have services. That's fine, but it's going to blow up. Cool. All right, so I get a mapper coming out that I can pass in here. Now look at all those lines. They are completely off. What? What? Configure Automapper returns an Automapper. Why did it make it? You make me sad. Try again. You were in the sauna earlier. La-di-da. Oh, good idea. Let's use the null coalescing. Good idea. Let's jump back over to this. Instead of doing this, we can actually simplify by doing that. Right, so this says if services actually is a thing, add singleton. If it's not, don't do anything. And that all greens there. Right, so still all greens over here. But we're not using the mapper yet. So now, instead of doing this, right? So now can I do this? Mapper.map. Right, destination is, right, a article details. And the source is article. Does everything stay green? Yes. So now that from domain method over here, this we can make disappear. Goodbye. I'm deleting code. And everybody likes to delete code. And now Automapper is taking care of that translation for us. And we can start to go after some of these other wrong one. Some of these other methods and clearing them out as well. But we didn't test to make sure that the comments are mapped properly yet. So let me go back over to onGet. Right And let's set up the article. So the new article is going to come through. And let's make sure comments equals new. Right, comments is a collection of, it's an I collection of type comment. Whatever. New comment. Yep. So let's put some things in here. Author ID equals GUID dot, I don't care, some new GUID. Content equals, this is a comment, narf. Display name equals, commenty comment face. What do you think of that? Is that good? Email equals comments at CoreWiki.com. I'm gonna need that domain name, aren't I? ID equals, let's go rdm.next. Let's put it somewhere way up here. ID, the article is, I don't care. I'm not going to go after that. But submitted is a... What do you mean it's not a thing? Of course it's a thing. It's an instant. Don't care. I should care, but I'm not going to care right now. So I added all these other... I added a comment into here. Vukasin 92. Thanks so much for the follow. Making magic happen. Yes. Lots of magic. So now... Right now, if we inspect that comment, those comments, go away. Right, so we're expecting article.comments.count. Let's start with just the count. Make sure that matches. Survey says... Are you kidding? 4,300 for CoreWiki.com? Hang on. Hang on. Oh, and I forgot to mention the hat. I'm wearing my Penn State hat today. As one does. So we're nearing the beginning of the fall college season here, and yeah, I want to support our friends over at the University of Pennsylvania State. Holy crow, 4,300. No. CoreWiki.io, well, that's a little bit better at $33 a year. CoreWiki CC, CoreWiki Ka, CoreWiki.org. Somebody took it. CoreWiki.net would have been perfect. What's over here? And it's parked. You make me sad. Make offer. $200 or more. No. I'll wait for you to rot. CoreWiki TV is 30. CoreWiki.blog, no. Wow. 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 Show more options. CoreWiki.wine. No. CoreWiki Dentist. That's the one I'm looking for. Yeah, example.com is nice for testing purposes. CoreWiki Project is available. Yep, $8. Look at that. I see a message here about another one available for about $10. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. I'm not going to get wrapped up in this right now. We will eventually need it. At the very worst, I'll set up at corewiki.jeffreyfritz.com. Did the audio go somewhere? No, I'm still broadcasting audio pretty well. This would allow auto-deploying. Yes. Yes. If you get tired of creating these test projects, I highly recommend you introduce AutoFixture and save some time writing tests. Well, hang on. AutoFixture doesn't generate tests for you. I don't think there's a Fritz top-level domain name. Yeah, that's not a top-level domain name. Okay, moving on. All right, so those tests, it generates fixtures. It generates fixtures? I didn't think AutoFixture did that. Hang on. AutoFixture. AutoFixture is an open source library to minimize the arrange phase of your unit tests. Right. Does it generate code? Fixture equals new fixture, fixture create. Right, you still need to do this. Builds. Yeah. So it sets it up, right. It doesn't generate those. What you may be thinking of is IntelliTest. Shoot, where is it? I saw Benjamin. Here we go. So IntelliTest. Right. It's only available in Visual Studio Enterprise. I'm nearly positive I have it installed. It used to be called PEX. Let me just take a quick peek here. Where'd it go? Ah, you accidentally hit mute. There you go. So I'm still using the preview because there's actually going to be another preview coming soon. Don't tell anyone. And we'll be able to use that. Where is it? Code tools. Link to SQL tools, live dependency validation. Live dependency validation. Git for Windows, I should have that installed, but build tools and runtimes for other things. I don't see IntelliTest here. Test adapter, testing tools, core features, web performance and load testing. IntelliTrace. Why don't I see IntelliTest? There's live unit testing. Is it just always available? No, it's not here. Right, so if I highlight some code, it's not in my list here. You're welcome to. I'm not in a rush to buy domain name because I'm not going to use it just yet, but you're certainly welcome to. I can grab it on my own. It's not an individual component. I didn't think it was. This is from Visual Studio 2015. Yeah. So 2018, generate unit tests. Create IntelliTest are only available in Enterprise Edition. Right, this is Enterprise Edition, isn't it? Enterprise. Support only C# code that targets .NET Framework. I'm targeting .NET Core, so it's not available. Son of a gun. Yeah. I'm taking a break. Yes, I will be taking a break for a week. So, Yeah, you're welcome to purchase it if you'd like, and I can certainly take care of it on my own. Like I said, I'm not in a rush to grab it. At the very least, I can subdomain my own. I've also got Fritz and let me show you this. If we're going to talk about domain names for a second, sign in. There's a thing. So I also have fritzandfriends.stream, Fritz and Friends Live. This is interesting. It's a project that I've wanted to do a Kickstarter for. Wouldn't it be cool to build a real Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? Get a cheap Android tablet. Replace the OS with something that basically allows you to hit Wikipedia by default. Create a nice cover to go with it, and might be a lot of fun. It comes with a Fritz towel. Well, there's an add-on that would be amazing. But the idea is, right, to be able to have that type of reference book that is able to hammer off of Wikipedia and do that type of search. Core.wiki was registered in the last hour. There's a Core. Hang on. But the challenge with that project was going to be, I'm going to need the. Oh, look at that! Somebody just took it, huh? And they want $200. Pain in my neck, I tell you. I'm not paying $200 for it. Let me tell you that. Wowzer's definitely someone in here. Could be. Hitchhiker Guide to the Galaxy does exist. Does it? Real Hitchhiker's Guide to the... Not free. I want real. No. And amazing translation device. No. Wikipedia is a real-life Hitchhiker's Guide. Yes. The challenge is getting the Douglas Adams estate to agree to allowing it to be named and marketed. Right? And this is from 2005. I don't think there really is a thing. So, time for barbecue in Bristol tonight. Nice. Have a good one, Benjamin. Thanks for joining us. And yes, don't panic, right? You make a nice cover that lights up that says "Don't Panic" on it. Oh, so many things you could do. And I thought it would be a cool Kickstarter to build. Agreed. Let's continue. So my comments are mapping properly, so I'm pretty confident that we're testing properly now. We're mapping properly between those two objects. Exactly, President Not Sure. There was no way they're going to let a kid from Pennsylvania license the name of that unless it was done perfectly, and it's not going to be easy. Let me throw a couple extra asserts down here. Right, so let's say article comments. Let me just say article.comments. Am I going to be able to do that? No, of course not. Because that's an I collection, and that is an I read-only collection. Are you freaking kidding me? Philos Silo, thank you for the follow. I appreciate that. Let's do this. Can I do a 2 array here? I'm gonna need to bring in link for that. But it should get me to the same objects. Right? No, doesn't like it. Why don't you like it? You're right. Different instances. I'm gonna have to inspect each one of these things. That might be a pain in the neck. Comment in article.comments. Assert dot equal comment dot, let's start with author ID, right? Is going to be the same as, well, wait. Yeah. SUT article comments. Now I need to find the right one that matches. That's a pain in the neck. Right to valid the collection. Oh, thank you. That's not it. Is that a thing? Collection assert? No. Assert.collection. Aha. Ah, there we go. All right, thank you. I'm not used to asserting my way through collections like this. All right, element inspectors and the collection to go through. So we're going to be going through the SUT article comments. Yeah. All right, now the action that we're going to be actually doing, we're going to take some sort of one of these. We need to find inside of our article comments that matching, right? Matching comment. Assert.contains. Yeah, all right. There we go. So article.comments. Expected. Right? Just list my asserts. Assert.collection. Hang on. Okay. So you're saying go like this. Don't need that. One of these. And say assert.contains. Right, and it's the expected substring is going to be right. How am I? I don't right, see article ID and then the actual one that I'm right, the actual object I'm looking at is article.comments. Yeah, see, this is weird. Right, so let me see what Brave Cobra has here. Issues in item assert contains. Yeah, I want to. It feels weird that I'm testing that the mapping succeeded, right? I'm effectively testing Automapper. Almost 2 a.m. Might go to bed soon. No worries. Stop using random numbers so that you can check the actual values. Yeah, I don't. I feel like this is testing. Well, I've only got one comment here. Right? So, I mean, let's not do assert. Assert.collection feels too much. If I did assert equal, right, expected, oh my gosh. You. Expected comment. expected comment author ID, and then the actual is going to be SUT, hang on, actual comment equals SUT article comments first. So now I can say actual comment dot author ID. Now see, author ID isn't on there. Right? So that's a bad choice. Let's grab the ID. Just the ID. That's not on there either. Come on, Jeff. Content. Get right to it. Should be checking behavior if the map exists properly. Yep. There it goes. Right, now I can add that for how many other fields? Right. I don't care about that one. Display name. Good. All right. I'm pretty happy about that. Don't need first or default, because I configured it up here, and if it errors out, that's okay. I want it to error out in my test if it doesn't find it. That's a good thing. Right? But just to explore that, right? Assert dot, I would say assert dot not null. And then I've got another test on that. Yes, Ocular Malice. We are using Automapper. I figured out who Ocular Malice is yesterday. Don't you have a stream to help with a certain blue-bearded Costa Rican in 5 minutes? Yeah, it can be single. Single or default, doesn't matter. I'm returning the first, whatever. Does the exact same. Who is Ocular Malice? They're quite malicious. He's Batman. Who is the blue-bearded Costa Rican? That would be Code Rushed. What's this over here? What do we got here? iGluke or iGlue? Igloo Kid. See what you did there? Igloo Kid, thank you for the follow. Git coming up. GIF coming up. Because Captain Amazing doesn't wear glasses, and you wear glasses. Had no idea he was from my country. Yes! Well, he's not from your country, he's living there. So, you created one and expect just one. Alright. I'm already doing a check on the number of counts, the number that are there anyway, right here. So, alright. So that looks like it's testing properly, and Automapper is properly mapping between these objects. So I'm pretty happy with that. I believe Code Rushed is going to be starting here in just a few minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start committing, getting this stuff back into source control, and clean up. I feel pretty good that we've introduced Automapper. We learned quickly and easily what we can do to get this involved. Now, going forward, I have some of these extension methods out here that I want to get rid of. To domain, from domain, that I want to clear those out. And I'm going to leave that up to folks if you want to submit a pull request and clean that up. Because I think that's something that's going to be valuable to bring in to the project. So I'm going to create an issue here. let's replace all of our from domain and to domain methods with calls to Automapper. And I'm going to set that up as good first issues. These are enhancements and help wanted, so that folks can explore, figure out where those are, and learn to use that. We're supposed to start right now, but Mark's internet is out right now. Oh no! Oh no. What happened? That'd be terrible if that happened. Alright. So that's auto fixture, domain names, they're a thing. Reddit was compromised. We went over that. Here's the documentation for Automapper. So Automapper read the docs IO is where the documentation is. Let's commit these changes. I'll commit it right here. Look at all that. Look at all those changes. So let's add everything. Introduced Automapper to simplify migrating data between application layers. Let's play the Mario music again. Let's finish this off. Good. And let's push that up. I'll need my bandwidth shortly to watch the football. Only available on an internet. Oh, that's terrible. That's not fun. Zombies. Yeah, zombies. That's probably what took over. Alright, so we push that up. We should see in our code, in project new data, we should see that commit come in. Here it comes. And it's now got the verified tag because I'm now signing my commits. What happened with F# Fridays? Did you deprecate this practice? No. I had a couple things lined up here that I wanted to... we were going to run a workshop yesterday. That ended up getting canceled. Some other things came up. But we're going to go back. We'll get back into F# Fridays. Gosh, it won't be until probably October, because September we have a workshop on a workshop, or we've got the 24-hour stream for .NET Conf, and we've got Ignite in there. So I'm not going to be able to get back into F# Fridays until October. It's coming. We'll get back to it. But I need to make sure that we have that working. And we will get into Ubuntu in the fall. I want to check and make sure Mark is up and running here. Unreliable internet is quite the problem. It's going to create an issue here. Yeah, it looks like he's offline. Oh, no. Here he is. Oh, he's broadcasting me. Hello, folks on Code Rushed. So I can't really read him right now. Solid Saturday today. Yes, it was. All right. So I guess we're just going to end the stream here today. But keep an eye out there for Mark's stream. He should be starting up shortly. But thank you, everybody, for joining me. Thanks for helping us learn how to use Automapper right now. Yes, I will be out for the next few days. I'm having surgery on Tuesday, so our next stream won't be until maybe Friday. Should be Saturday. So, alrighty. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in and joining us. Mad Brad, thanks so much for the follow. Take care, everybody. We'll see you later next week. Keep an eye on the schedule. Keep an eye on my Twitter, and I'll let you know when I'm ready to come on back. All right? Take care. See ya.